This is Dr. Sivaraman of iknowindices.com. So I'll be presenting the Asian Session Live Market Analysis webinar today on 11th of May between 5 and 5:30 GMT, explaining the derived forecast for this week 11th to 15th of May, and also do the market reading for today and find out what the players intend to do during this particular day and also during the week. And also, I'll explain briefly about the trading strategy, what we could adopt in order to avoid the surprises in the market. So let me show you the slide containing the forecast for this week. So it is the second week of May. The market is expected to show the trending move. But however, the week beginning false move is expected to happen today. And later on, they are expected to make some volatile moves during the midweek and then make quick rise moves towards the end of the week. So this is what expected in this particular week. So today, 11th of May, a dip. That's what we are seeing now. It has become a drop. And also afterwards, they are expected to firm up a little bit and then swing and slide during that of the European session. And you know that today, there's going to be BOE decision with regard to the interest rate decision. And so you could come across the market making the slide for that. And after the election, they are just making the announcement. And you know that last week, everybody was talking about the election and also the non-farm payroll. And we have seen how exactly the market moved in tandem with that of our expectations. So this week, they'll make the week beginning false move of a slide during that of the European session, and then swing and firm up move is expected during that of the US session. Then tomorrow, 12th of May, they are expected to make a small dip during start and then firm up during the Japanese session and swing and slide during that of the European session and swing and slide during the US session. So you could come across the downward moves tomorrow, and afterwards they are expected to make the swing and firm up, swing and rise and swing and firm up on 13th May, Wednesday. Then Thursday, they are expected to make a slide during the Japanese session and then firm up and rise during that of the European and the US session. Then Friday for the weekend, they are expected to make the swing and firm up and swing and slide during the European session and then swing and rise during that of the US session. So you'll come across the upward trending move in the market, but still they are expected to make some volatile moves in the market. So understand when they are going to make the downward move and then try to do buys, and that will get you very good profit during the rise. Then next following week will be the third week of May, again 18th to 22nd of May, and they will show the swing and rise move. More visible rise could be seen from that week onwards. Now, with regard to the levels in which the currencies are expected to make the swings in this week, so Euro could make the swing from 1.1075 to 1.1450. So they could make further downward move as an intraday stoppant on the downside by probably tomorrow. And then they are expected to accumulate the buy positions for the week and start gaining the levels. And in the case of JBP, you know that last week and before that, because of the uncertainty they just induced in the elections, and then subsequently we found that election results have come, and as a result they gained the levels in the case of GBP. And once the traders are willing to buy after the rise, then the players are expected to make the slide using some silly excuses and induce them to liquidate the long positions before making further rise. So this is what expected in this particular week. So don't buy after the rise or don't sell after the drop. So carefully handle it. Then in the case of USD-Yen, they are expected to make one push downward below that of 119, and that could give the trigger for the entire market to make upward move. And in the case of CHF, that they could just make a small dip of 100 pips and then subsequently start gaining more levels. And last week they came down to that of 0.90 level, and they are expected to make further upward move in the case of USD CHF. Then in the case of Canadian dollar, and they are expected to consolidate around 1.21 to 22 and then suddenly make a drop to that of 1.20 and below. And in the case of Australian dollar, the downside is limited and they're expected to make further upward move. So as far as the commodity pairs are concerned, they will not show any distinct USD gaining move, and they will only make sideways move and the USD weakening moves. USD weakening move. Only in the case of Euro and GBP, they will make quick downward move and the quick upward move in the market. And that is mainly to accumulate the positions before the upward shift in trading zone. So once they go to that of the middle level consolidation, you will come across daily basis, they will trade straight away in the levels of 500,000 pips in the case of Euro and GBP. So keep that in mind. So they just create the market sentiment and they don't perennially keep them, and they continue to change the market sentiments. So you have to keep in mind that what is visible is not true all the time. So they will make the market appear weak under strong conditions and then subsequently reverse. Only then the traders will get the surprise, and because of surprise, the distress trading happens. And that is why I've been insisting that don't become surprised with the market moves. So always expect the unexpected. Then you will never get the surprise and you won't become emotional. So you have to find the root cause for your emotional decisions and try to control such root causes and see that you are not influenced by such extraneous factor. So once you are not influenced, automatically you are able to take appropriate decision or your perception differs. So when the market drops, you look for a nice entry opportunity and you don't become afraid. When they start gaining the levels, you look for the exit opportunity rather than trying to become bullish. So simply becoming bullish and bearish of no use unless and otherwise you try to develop an appropriate trading strategy or try to perceive the market with the right sense and try to trade along with that of the players. The players drop the market to buy and rise the market to exit the positions. And then they continue to change the market sentiment from time to time. And if you think that, okay, now UK elections are over, GBP is going to be very strong, then they will start making the slide using some silly excuses. So always you find, and also Euro, they gained the levels last week to 1.13, and then from there they just made that drop because they wanted to handle Euro GBP cross at that time. So they gained nicely the levels in the case of Euro and dropped GBP. As a result, Euro GBP went up, and then they started dropping Euro and gaining levels in the case of GBP in order to drop Euro GBP cross. So every move has got a purpose in the market. So we need to find out what is the purpose of this particular move. They always take two pairs at a given time and try to make the move. So those two pairs as well as their corresponding crosses will also show the volatile moves during that particular time frame. So if you understand well that and you find that you are able to select the right type of currency during the right moves of the market, and as a result, you are able to earn at ease. Nobody will be able to prevent you from earning from that of the market, provided you develop the self-confidence, you develop that consciousness that you are able to read the market well and read the hidden agenda of the players. Now, this is the market reading. And I noted down the initial lows and the highs around 3:30 GMT, the four majors and two commodity pairs, and we will try to compare it with that of the current market levels. So in the case of euro, 1.115 was the initial low. They came down below 1.113 and started gaining the levels above that 1.1152. They are holding it in order to gain. That is what the dip and the gain moves are about. Then they will try to make an upward stop and start making the slide on the downside. Then in the case of GBP, 1.5414 is the low. They just breached the low and came down to 1.5406 and come above that of 1.5414 and holding above to gain the levels during that of the late Japanese session. And then they are expected to make an upward stop and near that of the high, probably BOE interest rate decision they could make use of and try to make an upward stop and then start making the slide again. So always they try to make the market moves against the expectations of the traders. They will pretend as if they are going to make the move in tandem with the market, then reverse, and then later on we will realize that it is nothing but the weak beginning false move. Then in the case of yen, 119.67 is the low, 119.89 was the high. They just breached the high and went up to 119.94, still holding above 119.89 in order to make one more gain. When Euro and GBP gain, USDN is also expected to gain a little bit and probably hit the stops above that of 120 and then start making the slide when Euro and GBP start making the slide. Then in the case of CHF, 93.06 is the low and 93.42 is the high. They just breached the 92.40 and 93.50 they went up to and then came down below that of 93.42. A brief upward stop before making a downward move in the case of CHF. Then Canadian dollar, 1.2082 is the low, 1.2119 was the initial high. They just went up to 1.2131 and came down below and currently holding around 1.212124. So they are likely to hold above that for 2 hours and then start making the slide. So you have to understand what sort of moves they are doing it. They are making an extended move in the case of Canadian dollar, stop-ins in the case of Euro and GBP on the downside, and extended move in the case of USD yen on the upside, and a stop in the case of CHF. So if you identify what sort of moves they are doing it, then you will be able to give appropriate time and then trade accordingly. And in the case of Australian dollar, 0.7891 was the initial high low, and they just breached and came down to 7876. And they are holding below that 788889. 7933 is the high. They are not breached it. So that shows that they wanted to make a downward move for 2 hours in the case of Australian dollar before making a small firm up and then slightly make for the downward move during that of the European and then reverse the market from that of the US session. So this is what envisaged following the type of moves. So on a daily basis, you can just note down the initial lows and the highs, find out what sort of moves they are doing it. Then accordingly, you can plan what is going to be the next move. After the extended move, the intentional move will be in the opposite side. So once the extended move is over for 2 hours, you can take a buy near that of the low or sell near that of the high. Then for 2 sessions and start of the third session, you'll be able to get more and more profit and then close it when they make a quick reversal move. So that way, on a daily basis, they will do one intentional move and you can trade aiming about 75 to 95 pips profit in each trade without any hassle. Only thing is, you have to wait for the right opportunities. You simply take a position and expect the market to give you that opportunity. They will not, because they want the traders to accumulate positions and then they will make whips or moves and earn their money. And then they will make the moves in tandem with that of your expectations. By the time, if you lose your position, you don't make money. If you don't lose your position, you make money. That is the game of the market. So in that, you have to always wait for the quick moves after noting down the initial lows and the highs. When they make an upward, stop and take a sell. When they make a downward, stop and take a buy, and see whether it is a stop and or an extended move. Always quick moves or false moves. Then later on, the intentional move will come opposite to that of the stop and or the extended move. Then during the intentional move, try to maximize the profit. And in that, keep 45 pips at order and trail the stop in profit making position after reviewing the hedge order. And once the position is showing some progress, you just move that take profit order to that of 75 pips and then try to maximize the profit. This way you will be able to continuously maximize the profit, minimize the risk and maximize the profit. And that is what the traders are supposed to envisage and do. So if you understand that you have to limit the risk so that you don't lose your money, and you have to maximize the profit so that you are not doing stressful scalping. So both ways, if you try to focus on it, you find that your equity builds up at a faster rate. And these are all the market timings. So always keep in mind the early and the late sessions, they handle the majors, mid sessions, they handle the crosses. If you are trading in the majors, focus the market only during the early and the late sessions. Mid sessions, you can have a casual look at the market. And also they will be very active during that of the gap time. The gap time moves are false move. Understand what way they intend to make the move during that of the session. Gap time move will indicate what they intend to do during that of the European session or the next session. So if they gain the levels quickly during gap time, then you understand that they will make a drop during the session. So you can follow that and try to take appropriate positions. And always keep in mind they don't do similar moves for more sessions and more than 2 days. So that way, if you follow it, you'll be able to really understand that tracking the market is much easier. So if you got any questions, you can ask me the questions. So Thursday, I'll not be able to come. I'll be out of station. So I will come back on 18th May and give the forecast for the next week. And if you've got any doubt, you can ask me the questions. I'll be willing to answer those questions. Because we have another 10 minutes to go. Okay, let me show the forecast page. Meanwhile, you can think of any question and ask me. Okay, there is a question, the question answer window. Are you saying Asian session goes wrong way or Monday goes wrong way? Big beginning false move in the sense the entire Monday, any one session or two sessions, they can make a wrong move. That's what it refers to. Today, it happens to be a wrong move during that of the Japanese session and the wrong move during that of the late European session. That means a false move, or against their intention, they will try to make the move. Because see, they have to make that drop like that so that those who have got a long positions from that of last week will liquidate. And also those who follow the charts and think that, okay, Euro has breached below that of the support and come down. So if it's take a sell, then for the drop, we will be able to capture profit. They will go in for a breakout trade. And so they induce the traders to go in for such breakout trades. And the traders will try to wait for the signals to come and commit the positions. And afterwards, they will make one quick drop of 20-30 pips and then reverse the market. By the time, if the trader does not book profit, he will be in problem. After the drop, selling, and after the rise, buying will be detrimental. Okay, Aditya, do you see gold also trend higher with euro? Yes, they are likely to go up, gold and oil. Then Aditya, euro yen and GBP yen are also expected to trend higher with euro. As far as the yen crosses are concerned, whenever they are making a regular USD gaining or the USD weakening move, you'll find sideways move in the yen crosses. Only when they make the contrarian move, the yen crosses are likely to make big moves. So they're at the moment doing only sideways move in the case of in the euro move in the case of USD. The time you make further downward move in the case of USD. Out of that, the Euro yen, GBP yen, and the USD yen, they stop cutting the new low for more than 30 minutes to 2 hours. Then you take a buy, you'll be able to see the gains in the case of. Do simply ask what will happen and take positions, because they may give you the position afterwards. If they make drop of 50-60 pips, you may become jittery. So always keep it in mind that you have to study and you have then Shamir. So is it good to go anti the initial weekly moves? You can do sell and buy trade provided you understand well. Otherwise, wait for the drop and then try to take buy positions. Then Shamir, euro now dropping. Will the rest of the week rise? See, I have given this session-wise moves, and they're all pertaining to GBP. Try to follow it, and that entire week it will rise. Can Shaukiat. Based on forecast, tomorrow will be down move for euro and GBP. How much of downside we'll be able to see? So euro and GBP are likely to just make the drop during that of the late European and then firm up again. Okay, then again they will make a small dip and firm up. Probably come to that of today's high. Then they will make the high. So a sideways move rather than they will only create the bearish feel, but they will not drop big. Any other questions here? See, you know that they dropped euro to 1.0705, etc. That was bearish, and that was really to induce the traders to liquidate the long position, and they have been accumulating. But these moves nowadays, you find, are all nothing but mostly sideways moves. Little bit dip of 50 pips or 100 pips and things like that. So don't imagine immediately they will go to 1.06 or 1.07. Then only you become bearish and take a sell. And if they drop only 10, 15 pips, you fail to book profit. So never develop the sentiment, because the players are here to induce the traders to develop sentiment and lose their money. So don't become victim to their act. You just understand, okay, euro might drop about 10, 20 pips or 50 pips, and see they had dropped about 56 pips. So up the maximum, they may drop about 75 pips net change. So see where exactly you can book profit. So I explained it many times. So you need to understand that and try to capture the profit rather than becoming bullish and bearish. If you become bullish and bearish, you will miss that opportunity. I'm 100% sure about it. Okay, no further questions are coming up. Okay. Oren, Euro GBP did not cut the initial low more than 1 hour, so it will rise. Yes, they had done the stop, and that's what I was telling you. And come above that of the initial low and staying there and making a little bit dip. And so in others, they are doing the extended move. That is why they are just trying to pretend as if they are doing the extended move. And they will firm up towards close and then make the slide during that of the European session. That is the forecast. So if you buy, you have to exit during that of the late Japanese session rise. Then afterwards, they'll make one slide. At that time, you can buy back again. So if you miss that opportunity, they may slightly go below your buy level. Then you become afraid. Then later on, they make the rise. So try to understand when the volume improves, the slide will also be significant. At that time, if we buy, we'll be able to see the profit. Otherwise, wait till tomorrow, let them settle, and then try to take, especially European and the US session slide will be stronger. At that time, you can take a buy. Then later on, you can just wait for the market to go up. So that is why I'm giving you the full week forecast. If you don't become addicted to trading, you will be looking for the right opportunity to enter into the market. And you become possessive of holding a position. That means you are emotional. You simply take €1 or GBP buy or a sell position. You expect the market to move in your favor. But the players have got other things to do. They have to, first of all, induce the traders to enter into the market. Only then they can trap them. So when they are busy with that, you lose your patience. Till Lawrence, will you have a webinar for tracking the Forex market? Yes, I'll be having it on 19th of May. 19th of May, I'll be giving the twin webinar. So no more questions. So this is the expected market moves for this week. And the levels in which the currencies are expected to make swings during this week. You can understand. Then the initial lows and the highs, similarly, you note down on a daily basis and understand how they are cleverly making the moves in the market with a simple mechanism. They don't follow the charts. They only ask others to follow the chart. So don't be distracted with that. Instead, follow their simple technique of tracking the market. And you'll find that really you can make money. If your methodology is very simple, it's very easy to execute things. If it becomes more complicated, then with the more possibilities, then it creates more uncertainties. So I take this opportunity to thank FX Street for the facilities provided to present the webinar, and thank you one and all for your presence here. And I'll come back on next Monday and give the forecast for the next week. Till this time, try to follow the forecast and also do the market reading on your own and try to take your own appropriate decisions to trading so that you'll be able to stand with that and you will be able to protect your equity. So thank you one and all. See you on Monday.